So I go into my doctor's office yesterday for my annual checkup. And right away, obviously, the doctor says, so how have you been feeling? How have you been? And I let her know that not well, because, ever since that diagnosis, after last year's visit of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, my liver's been in pain every day. And obviously, it's really hard to try to follow this extremely strict diet with no fat, no salt, no sugar, no starchy carbs. So it's been really, really hard. And she's like, what diagnosis? Well, last year with the blood work, you guys called me when you got the blood work. You had a secretary call me and give me that diagnosis of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it's been scaring the daylights out of me because that's how my father died, from liver disease. And I'm quickly approaching the same age he died. And so it's been kind of stressful psychologically and then physically in pain every day, and then trying to employ all that discipline with never eating anything sweet, never eating any fast food, never eating, it's been hard. She was like, I'm looking at your blood numbers right now. They said your triglycerides and your cholesterol's out of whack, but I'm looking at them right now and it's not. So I don't know who made this phone call. And I was like, oh, well, if you didn't have someone call me, I must be remembering correctly. It must be the people from the lab where they did the blood work. She says, no, legally they're not allowed to diagnose you or to even go over your results of the blood work. That's my job. That's my office's job. I was like, yeah, I was kind of offended that you didn't call me and you had what I thought was your secretary call me. I'm pretty sure that's how she identified herself. And she said, yeah, well, I didn't call you because there was nothing really of concern. Wow. Well, why am I in pain every day? Right where I see the liver is when I Google this stuff. She said, that's your gallbladder. Okay. She said, the good news is it's easy to take out and your body won't really miss it. It stores bile. But your liver adjusts when you take it out, and your liver just starts producing bile all the time so that you don't really need the storage of the bile. It's like, okay, great. So I can get a quick surgery and stop being in pain every day. And I can go back to enjoying some fish and chips and some red meat, some bacon. So that's where I'm driving right now. I'm driving to get some bacon with my breakfast. But isn't that bizarre? So, it's, why did they go through making this effort to convince me that I have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and I have to now follow this strict diet of no alcohol, and, even smoking tobacco or cannabis or chewing tobacco is really something to avoid if you are suffering from, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, because everything that enters your bloodstream needs to go through the liver. And so you have to avoid, as much as possible, putting anything that's toxic into your bloodstream. Obviously, nicotine from chewing tobacco or nicotine within the smoke going in your lungs, or even smoke from cannabis, all of that is damaging to the liver when you're trying to repair it. So you need to avoid all of that stuff. And, man, that diet, I posted a video saying I lost 40 pounds in 5 months without exercising. And it's totally true. That's amazing to me. And then I lost 45 pounds in 6 months. But then I started to gain a little bit back. So I got down to 147. Now I'm up at like 157, 158. But wow, I got these people crossing the highway right in front of me, just walking. Like, that was crazy. But they were old people, and they didn't want to skedaddle across the highway. I'm traveling 60, and they just started walking slowly right in front of my car. But that's bizarre. So, but it goes back to, you know, what narcissists think. Narcissists think that they're actually doing you a favor when they run smear campaigns, when they turn everyone against you, when they backstab you and do extremely cruel things to you. It all has to do with, you know, thinking, well, this is the way of the world. And obviously you're so naive and gullible that, you know, as a good big brother or a good parent, I need to show you that you got to keep your head on the swivel, bro. You got to learn how to suspect, you know, the knives coming out. You got to learn how to not trust people. You got to learn how to watch your own back. Sit with your back against the wall, so to speak. And so I think that's where this comes from. These gang stalkers actually called me in a weird way, thinking that they're doing me some good. And obviously they did do me some good. But being under that level of stress, but I was already having a hard time digesting bread. And so I was kind of getting bloated a lot and putting weight on. And so it really did kind of take me out of a somewhat of a bad place and got me to focus more on, you know, not eating things that were causing that and really eating clean, you know. But yeah, there is that phenomenon that's not really talked about very often, and that phenomenon being that they actually think by abusing us that they're kind of teaching us the ways of the world and inadvertently doing us some good. So it's really weird, you know. But it's getting out of hand, and I think I'm gonna kind of avoid the topic in the future, because look at what extents that has radically shaped the last 12 months of my life. That phone call where I was lied to with incredibly sensitive medical information, that I didn't have to go through all that. So maybe it's good, but I just don't like them being, you know, I mean, I'm sure they have like 3 different lists, like the A list, the B list, and the C list. You know, I'm kind of getting tired. I want to maybe downgrade to the C list from the B list type of thing. So, but I'm still going to make videos, but I think I'm going to avoid this topic because, I mean, it was happening. I mean, the worst it ever happened was the 3 years in San Pedro. That was the absolute worst. And that wasn't even on my radar back then, that subject of gang stalking. So I don't know. I just wish there was some way I could get off the list, because there's things going on now that I can't even bother to share. But it's like every time I come home, I see someone walking towards me, coming from the area of my front door, and I don't recognize these people, and they're like frequently in their pajamas, like they rushed over there, you know, like they were given a call. Okay, we were tracking his phone, he's a good 15 minutes away, so you need to get there ASAP. And you know, a lot of these people are just without jobs or whatever, apparently. and they just jump in their car even though they're just in their pajamas. And so like the last 3 times I've come home, I see people that don't live there walking briskly from the area of my front door. And I got trailed by a police officer yesterday for several miles. Day before yesterday, I came home and there were signs that someone had entered, even though I was only on a 45-minute dog walk. That's what really irritates me, is sometimes I'll just leave for, just 35, 40 minutes and they come by. So I'm getting fed up with it, and I can still talk about the goodness of the Lord without having to bring up this subject. And I was indoctrinated to complain a lot, and so this will be good for me to have my things getting broken nonstop and to not complain about it. That'll be a good exercise for me. So I'm going to wrap it up there, but I was pretty shocked that they went through those extents to, know that I just got some blood work done and had an annual checkup, and that they're going to give me this false information. Pretty lame, if you ask me. But at the same time, it is what it is. God bless you. Leave a comment, and I'll talk to you later.